Welcome back, folks, to Shivers here on the Heavybass channel. Last time, we discovered that there is something in the fireplace, but unfortunately, we're not going to deal with that today. We're finding our way out into a secret, room, and... what do you know? It looks like we might have another opportunity to get another secret lift. Hopefully this is actually going to work. Yes, it is. Puzzle quickly solved. Mostly due to today's episode is a bit of a off break, because before we go into the actual museum itself and sort out some stuff, but we get to listen to some really jolly music, which is the lift music, which I think is really kind of cool, which takes things a bit. But we get to go up to the professor's bedroom. So we were in the study, and now that we found his lift, we're now heading up to his bedroom. Yeah, this is where the guy sleeps, and there are some very rare instances where you get to go inside. There are some rare instances if you get to, you see his bedroom. Now, I would love to sleep in a bed like that. No joke. All that stuff, but you gotta be very careful. As you probably may hear in the background, the suit of armor is actually occupied by another Zoopy of different orders. But here is basically what happens in the late 50s, early 60s, where he eventually got to be, exiled at this point, because he was ostracized from British society, went to the States, went to Mount Pleasant, Ohio, and basically lingered there all the way to 1980, where boys' disappearances. This is basically his thoughts in a different, and he misses his son very badly. He missed his son very badly, very much so. You could take a look for yourself, but it's a great pretty much is a background to all the stuff he's been doing from 70s to 72. But one of his last entries is the one we're bloody interested in. Essentially, he gets frustrated. Essentially, if you look at the diaries, he gets frustrated by the delays of his museum being built, which is where we are standing. And they do eventually get to work. Is that they talked about all that stuff. So, heading towards the end of that stuff, which is right here, the 80s stuff, he basically goes on 1980s. So eventually, he talks about how he missed the Mexican workers. He went into the state to find a young lad, which is the reason. In 1983, he heads off into the last entry, goes into Africa. And that was probably the last entry in the journal. Indeed, and that is his son, Jeffrey. Poor kid. By the way, do not touch the suit of armor that contains a Zoopy. As Stevie mentioned before, fortunately the professor does not have any good taste in music. But you'll notice the time of 5:30 and the clock. Keep it on the 5:30 aspect of this one. This is a clue to a puzzle later on in the playthrough. We won't be doing much with this one, but the key important thing is keep remembering the time of 5:30. The reason why it's 5:30 is mostly because he forgot to fix the clock. So he's been working on from 5:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon thing. So he's been working on a 12-hour shift. His sleep pattern is screwed because of that. So yeah, previously mentioned before, do not go out to the metal armor. We're pretty much done with the bedroom. There's not much here. And we get a closer look at that one. But anyway, as we go into here, yes, you'll notice that as soon as you start solving the puzzles, they go up in thing, which is why we are not gonna do much with it. That's the sad thing we have to note, is that some puzzles are stuck like this, and some puzzles are essentially, gonna have to try and move some of these puzzles in order to, get to where they are. And we can't move that either. So I'm gonna call that one a bust. Try this again. Now, we might be able to do something. Blocks tend to be the more difficult. These puzzles with blocks in them tend to be the ones that are, I think, in my opinion, the very hard ones. Well, not this one, it seems. Except for the gaps that we have. Oh, no, I think we might be able to get this one. I think I might have inadvertently solved it, and I kind of owned it, which is a shame. There we go. Gonna have to move one of these across. Yep. Just gotta make sure this is correct. Like so. And now we move that across. That across. And now you move that down. That's solvable, but that takes a bit. So yeah, we're done with the bedroom, and that's about that. Right. Now we get to go solve. Before we leave the office to go into the actual museum itself, there's one more puzzle that needs to be solved, and that's essentially is something in the professor's office, and that is the room across. This is where the workshop is. This is the location of a pretty much a Zupi that is going to be around a lot. It's also the second worst Zupi in the game, in my opinion. Unless, of course, the randomizer is really good. Keep an eye on this one. It's pretty much all that stuff that's here. Potential basilisk. Well, he calls it basilisk. But we have to go ahead and solve this puzzle, which is, of course, not the one that's coming up, but the one. See that statue? See this statue here? That's the location of a Zupi that we may have. Also, an axis seems to be missing from that. Yeah, the axe is missing. Interesting. Alright. Now, remember the puzzle. We have to open the drawers that were not mentioned in the thing. So, your drawers are basically those. Open up those, and at the same time, when we do, we found another one of these. Strange. I have no idea what those are. I really don't. Well, they're lids to vessels, as I mentioned before. But we need to find two components. We need to find the head of that one, and we need the body of that one too. Then we can go ahead and trap the Zupi. That's all that in order. But again, admire that beautiful watercolor mark. This is how literally the game was made. It is beautiful. It is wondrous. And next time on Shivers, we're going to actually start the game properly. As in, we're going to start going around the museum and see what we see for ourselves. Until then, folks, I will see you all in the near future. Bye for now.